9 days ago, I talked about how there's no load that Jason Whitlock won't stoop to in order to demonize a brother. Now, back in December, Jason Whitlock has been on Deion Sanders, the head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes, stating that he isn't going to be a successful coach and that he's going to ultimately fail at Colorado, this, that, and the third. Now you go from that to saying that if he succeeds at Colorado, you should get the credit. Salute to my brother Ticket for putting on this particular video. He signal boosted this. I'm going to piggyback right off of this like I did yesterday. And Jason Whitlock, there's no level of disgusting that you are. There's no level of disgusting that you are. So let me get this straight. Because see, you're trying to have it both ways now. So you go from saying that this man is going to fail at Colorado ultimately to where if he succeeds, you want the credit. I'm gonna play audio and fair use, fat boy, fair use. I'm gonna play audio and then we're gonna break this down on the other side. The way I know how to break this down. We're gonna break this down of what he said. Cause see, I still can't get for the life of me of why you got that Asian dude, Steve Kim, on your platform feeling comfortable speaking on black folks. But anyway, we're gonna get right to the audio. DJ, spin that shit.
We have this mentality, Steve, in the media, and particularly among black media, that there must be black affirming care applied to Deion Sanders. And I reject that because it's no different.
First and foremost, we never, at one point or another, was praising Deion for affirmation. He don't need affirmation from us. This man's already a winner. He's the only man that's played in both a World Series and a Super Bowl, and he's won Super Bowls. He knows what it takes to win. He's done it his whole life. So this thing to where we're praising Deion Sanders for affirmation, are you out of your fucking mind? What's up, GG Chillin 702? See, you're reaching. And that's the classic thing you do. You reach, you project, you come up with false narratives to try to drive home a point. No matter how feeble it is, you're willing to die on that hill because while everybody's doing one thing, you're going to go the opposite route. Just to go the opposite route. No matter if it doesn't make sense, no matter if you look like a buffoon in the process, you just willing to go the opposite route just to go the opposite route. This is being contrarian to be stupid comes in. There's a time to be contrarian and there's a time to not be contrarian. And you, Jason Whitlock, you walking embodiment of a Goodyear blimp are wrong on this one on so many levels. But let's continue on.
Than gender affirming care in terms of like everything must be affirmed. And that's what Deion went into that first game post spring press conference looking to be affirmed. And anybody that didn't affirm him previously, he was going to call out. And Steve.
No, he was not looking for affirmation. What he was looking for are people who are willing to ride with him through this process. Because ain't that the job of any head coach when he goes into a situation for the first time? So the man just doing this job, but he's looking for affirmation. From who? Head coach Deion Sanders ain't doing nothing that any other coach is doing when it comes to what he envisions as a football program. But you sitting up there saying he's looking for affirmation. From who? People decide to get behind Deion Sanders, right? And want to watch him succeed. You have a problem with that. Now, you're the main one that's sitting up here preaching to people that how we need to be, how we need to stick together, this thing and that thing, and yet your fat ass will go on a goddamn show and demonize head coach Deion Sanders just because. You have no rhyme or reason to do it. You're just doing it just because. But you want to see him succeed. See, this is what you bootlicking motherfuckers get on my nerve about. Y'all want to sit up there and keep on talking this shit about, oh, well, I'm doing this because I'm holding him accountable. But yet you don't keep that same energy across the board. No different than what Tyrannosaurus Burke did one year when in the light of the whole R. Kelly situation, well, it's my job to hold my black brothers and sisters accountable. And then when it comes to the white folks, well, why is my job to go after white people? That's you, right there in the nutshell. Textbook, fatlock. Now let's continue on with this
When
diarrhea
it
of the
comes to
mouth.
sports and when it comes to men, resistance is how you build greatness. It's how you build great men. Whoever the strength coach is at Colorado, whoever the strength coach is at any university, any sports program, resistance is the key.
Okay, so who is your strength coach at Ball State? Because he clearly failed you. Who is your strength coach? You sitting there talking about resistance is the key. Then how come you didn't have a successful football career, Jason Whitlock? Huh? You talk about resistance is the key. Well, it feels like you was resistant to anything somebody was telling you. I bet if someone put a goddamn brisket hot plate in front of you, you wouldn't be resistant to not eat it. Right, Jason Whitlock? Am I correct on that assessment? If someone dropped a a a, a big ass brisket platter right in front of you, would you be resistant to eat it, or would you fall victim to your cravings and whatnot? I'm a maverick. I like to gamble. I want to bet the house money that you will not be resistant to that brisket platter. You will dive right in, and you make sure that you clean your plate and lick the juice off the damn plate. You fat fuck.
You don't need to be affirmed. You need resistance in the weight room. You go to the military. They're going to provide resistance.
I got another question. When last time you saw a weight room without you being allergic to it? If you go by a Planet Fitness right now, are you going to break out in hives? Huh? Does Gold's Gym give you cold sweats? Huh? When last time you saw a weight room?
It's not going to be, let me affirm you. This is all a feminine approach to sports and to Deion that does not help him. And I'll say this, and people will be pissed at me for saying this, but cut this clip. All you guys out there making YouTube videos criticizing me and Jason Whitlock's a sellout and he's hard on Deion Sanders. I want all of you. I'm talking to all of you. If Deion and this thing goes well, give me the credit because I'm the only one putting any pressure on Deion. I'm the only one applying any resistance to Deion. Warren Sapp, everybody that's got a problem with me, Warren Sapp, and obviously I love Warren. Obviously, but texted me after they went 2-0 on Saturday. What you say now? And I said, yeah, it's still early. It wasn't an impressive victory. And he's like, oh man, this is personal. This is personal. I'm like, man, this is not personal. I'm telling you, I want Deion to be successful, and that's why I'm going to continue to stay on his rear end and try to whip him into shape and into a mentality.
You can't even whip your own ass into shape, and you sitting up here talking about, I'm going to whip Deion into shape. That man on 8 toes can run faster than you on 10 toes. And you sitting up here talking about you could whip somebody into shape. Look at you slumped over in that couch like that, sleeping. I guess that brisket platter got you stage 3 nigga-itis in it. Look at you. You talk about whipping somebody into shape. Can you run a half a mile without you huffing and puffing? Huh? You talk about whipping somebody into shape. Get your fat, gelatinous, grotesque ass out of here. Talk about whipping somebody into shape. Are you crazy? Boy, that is gaslighting if there ever was one. You talk about whipping somebody into shape as cruel. Rules were cruel and not usual irony. You gotta be smoking something real good. Talk about whipping somebody into shape. This man, head coach Deion Sanders, can run faster on 8 toes than you could on 10. This man missing the big toe for crying out loud. And he can still run faster than you. But you talk about whipping somebody into shape that you're going to keep on applying the pressure. What pressure? You know obesity leads to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. What's up, underrated? Salute to my man, underrated darkness in the building. But you talk about whipping somebody into shape. Now, another interesting dynamic that you mentioned on this long-winded diatribe you went on talking with that Asian on your damn platform. What the fuck is he doing on that goddamn platform feeling comfortable speaking on black folks? I still can't understand that for the life of me, fat boy. But anyway, you talk about how pressure make diamonds. Then what are you? Huh? What are you? If, if pressure make diamonds and head coach Deion Sanders is this glistening diamond that is in front of us, what in the hell are you? Ooh, I know. I know what you are. I know exactly what you are. You are a heaping lump of coal that will eventually turn to ash. That's what you are. That's what you are. You sit up here on a failed career at Ball State, eating skinless ballpark franks, but you know what it takes for a diamond. You know what it takes to be a diamond, even though you ain't one yourself, right? You are the dark match that no one sees on TV, but you know what it takes to make a diamond. You are unbelievable, man. I swear to fucking God, you are unbelievable. You are unbelievable, bro. This man grinding hard 24/7, and look what you doing. What you doing? You dreaming about what Deion Sanders would. You dreaming about the life Deion Sanders has, like, because that's the life you want. That's what you're doing right now. Slumped over on that couch, you over there holding all your fat together. How come you ain't had that stellar career at Ball State, the way you couldn't get drafted in the NFL? What happened to you? You said you sitting up here lecturing people what it takes to be a diamond. What happened to you? Because you ain't a good, obviously you wasn't a good football player. Now you're not a good journalist. So that make you a 2-time loser. fat boy, that makes you a two-time loser. So let me get this straight. Since you had all this smoke for Shannon Sharp, right? So Shannon Sharp was a successful football player. He's a Hall of Famer. And then he goes into journalism and he has a successful career in journalism. So what in the hell is Shannon Sharp doing that you're not doing, Jason Whitlock? What's he doing that you're not doing? Because obviously he's getting the traffic, you're not. And all that shoe shuffling and all that buck dancing you've been doing ever since your days at ESPN. When you was on Jim Roman's Burning and you was on the Sports Reporters, and then you go to FS1 and all that, you had this show with Marcellus Wiley. And you had the show with Colin Cowherd. Then you leave that, go to Outkick, got kicked out of Outkick with Clay Travis. Right now you're on the Blaze with Fearless. Even though you're so fearful, the way you don't want to talk to the public, you just want to sit in your little echo chamber and spout all your little bullshit, but yet you're fearless, right? Huh? Yeah, that rules with cruel and unusual irony too. But you know what it takes to make a diamond. Even though you ain't one yourself now, that's like a broke person telling you how to make $1 million. Now, this broke person ain't got a pot to piss in, ain't got a cent to his fucking name. Matter of fact, his account in the negative. But yet he has the magic touch or the Midas touch or how to make you a millionaire. Even though he ain't one himself. But he got the Midas touch of how to make you millionaire. Get your fat ass out of here. And this is the logic that I'm always referring to when it comes to these jokers, man. For real. You want to see him succeed, but yet every time we turn our heads, you always going on some podcast or going to some long-winded diatribe of why he gonna ultimately fail and all that. So you really want him to succeed? Or do you want to see him crash and burn so that way you can go in your little toilet and be like, see, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to happen like that. I told y'all. When everybody was standing against me, when I was down on that hill, I told y'all this wasn't going to work. You chomping at the bit for that in it so you can cash in your chips. Because you want to be the maverick. You want to be the guy that's contrarian just to become a contrarian. Get your ass out of here, boy. Yeah, GG Chilling, he is a joke. Just problem is he's just not a funny one. So this thing that you got with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, and more particularly speaking about Shannon Sharp, that you got his HR file. How did you get his HR file? Huh? Because that's supposed to be private information. So how in the devil you get his HR file? If somebody gave you someone else's HR file, that is a lawsuit all day long. The fuck are you talking about? Oh, I read his HR file. Really? Really? You got that kind of pull? You got that kind of clout the way you can access someone else's HR file. Not only that person who gave you the that file gets fired, but Fox and whoever gets that lawsuit, a multi-million-dollar lawsuit at that. So you can sit up here and lie, mislead the public with that shit, but you ain't fooling me, fat boy. You not fooling me at all. You grotesque, gargantuan fuck. No, sir. Nobody's supposed to give you anybody's HR file without their express permission. And who in their right mind would give somebody their HR file at their line of work? Who's going to do that? Would you like somebody reading your HR file, Jason Whitlock? Huh? Would you like somebody doing that to you? I just want to know. Would you like somebody reading your HR file? Oh, you wouldn't want nobody reading your HR file. Just like I thought. So you're out here lying to people. But that's your MO because you really have nothing to go off of. You're just gonna go out here and spread all this propaganda to be the grifting fat con artist you are. Because this is what it's really all about. It is about the grift. You're just gonna leech on to what's popular, come up with some wild ass contrarian take. Also, you can get your heaping helpings of milk-bone dog biscuits. Because this is really all about. That's what it's really all about. It's about the grift. You don't want to startle the people who's cutting your checks. That's why you go out of your way to protect the other side. Now, I find it interesting that you had Brett Favre on your show and you did not ask him not one question about why he stole all that money down in the great old state of Mississippi. You would think that would have been a prime opportunity for Brett Favre to test for his sins, and you didn't ask him not one question about why he stole all that money down in Mississippi. Now, mind you, Brett Favre is well off. He's very affluent from his playing days in the NFL, but he felt the need to steal all that money, all that tenant funds when he was running around with Jake Van Landingham, trying to come up with some medicine that's going to cure the CTE problem. Or he was running around with Nancy New and John Davis and all these other people, right? Down in the great old state of Mississippi, had the Mississippi governor doing all the wheeling and dealing for him while he pulling the strings and making all maneuvers in the background. Yeah, that's Brett Favre. You ain't asked him not one question about why he stole all that money down in Mississippi. But you was so quick to get Brett Favre to throw Deion Sanders under the bus. That's how much of a disgusting hack you are. You are a useless, disgusting hack. Now, Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer, no matter how many you feel about him being a thief. But he is a Hall of Famer. And greatness recognize greatness. So, for you and your little feeble attempt to get Brett Favre to throw Deion Sanders under the bus and Brett Favre didn't take the bait shows how much or how little of a journalist you are, Jason Whitlock. Because if you understood the principle of greatness recognizing greatness, you wouldn't even try to do something that's stupid. But then again, you are a stupid individual. You're a stupid individual. You got the only person in that is not a Hall of Famer is Seth Joyner. Even though Seth Joyner was a really good player back in the day for the Philadelphia Eagles. But Warren Sapp's a Hall of Famer. Brett Favre's a Hall of Famer, right? Even though Seth Joyner not in the Hall of Fame, but he's a really good player, right? All these guys trying to tell you. Warren Sapp was at the damn training camp for Colorado. He trying to tell you firsthand what he saw. He trying to tell you what he saw. And yet you continue to go on this nonsensical diatribe about this man. For what? Look, I'm not worried about Jason Whitlock, all right? He don't put no fear in my heart. Because unlike him, I did time in the military. So I know all about being pressured and being tested and having resistance put upon me. I know all about that. So that fat, gelatinous, gargantuan giant don't put no fear in my heart. If anything, he will duck me. I did 20 years in the military. I did way longer in the military. So I know anything about being pressured and being tested and all that, and still able to come out on the other side. He don't know nothing about that. The only thing Jason Whitlock is putting pressure on is his gut. That's the only thing Jason Whitlock is putting pressure on. Every time he eat a slider, every time he eat a slice of pizza, every time he downs some goddamn sweet tea with lemonade. But then again, his gelatinous ass don't want to drink no sweet tea with lemonade. He'll drink the unsweetened kind. Anytime he put some Nashville hot chicken in his stomach, he is putting pressure on his gut. But yet he knows what it takes to, for someone to be a diamond. Yeah, right. That man has zero credibility. Zero. And until you stop demonizing black folks, I'm going to continue to put my foot in the crack of your fat ass. Absolutely. It ain't going to stop until you stop buck dancing. So either one or two things. You stop buck dancing or you just happen to succumb to your gelatinous your gluttony. Either way, it's going to come to a stop one day. That's right. Either you succumb to your gluttony or you just happen to have a lifestyle change. Either way, until you stop that buck dancing, that shoe shuffling, that corn shucking, I'm going to continue to put my foot in your ass. Absolutely. And I will be unadulterated, unapologetic to it. Salute to the Sports Jedi Network in the building. I really enjoy your channel and I really enjoy the content you put out. Please subscribe to the Sports Jedi Network. If you're looking for content regarding the Knicks, Giants, Jets, Yankees, even though he don't do the Mets, but hey, I won't hold that against him. But he also does wrestling content. So please subscribe to the Sports Jedi Network. And I mean that, Jason Whitlock. I mean that. I really do mean that. You are what's wrong with media. Oh, don't worry, I got you, especially next season. Hopefully, Mets will be better next season. But yeah, man, all love all day. But this is why my channel exists. If you want to know the real reason why my channel exists, it's to counteract the counterfeit narratives that's being put out here by people like Jason Whitlock. You may not like how I deliver it, but it's going to get delivered. Because we want the truth. We don't want some spun up, fake outrage, conjured up, cooked up bullshit in hopes that we're just going to slurp up that slop. No, absolutely not. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. We will keep it fair and balanced, 100 across the board. And every time you come out with something targeting head coach Deion Sanders or targeting Stephen A. Smith, even though I don't like Stephen A. Smith, targeting Shannon Sharp, targeting Serena Williams, target. And I am chomping at the bit to see what you're gonna say about Alexander Madison. Now, for those of you who may not be aware what happened, Alexander Madison is a running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He fumbled twice in the game against the Philadelphia Eagles back on Thursday night. And he went on his Instagram, and there's all kinds of racist people putting out racist stuff on his Instagram page. Now, the NFL's come out saying that they don't condone that, even though they're out here gaslighting considering the actions that they've done over the last decade or so. But I'm waiting to see what Jason Whitlock gonna have to say, because I'm pretty sure, given his behavior, given his history, right, because his track record of demonizing black folks is real extensive. I'm willing to see how he's going to take this and somehow make Alexander Madison to be the victimizer. Like how he's going to be this guy that, oh man, well, Alexander Madison, well, he shouldn't endure racism. I mean, look at how much money he's making. Yeah, because that's the same thing he said about LeBron James. When LeBron James had his home vandalized and someone sprayed the N-word on his property, and he's like, well, LeBron, you shouldn't experience racism because, LeBron James is a billionaire. I mean, so people with money status or black folks that's in the high tax bracket is not subjected to racism, given by your fat boy logic, right? See, that's the kind of disgusting takes that he goes on. And he think people are supposed to go along with it. And people are just going to agree with it. No, 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 no. We're not going to agree with that. We're not going to agree with that, not one iota. Because it doesn't matter if you're rich or it doesn't matter if you're broke. You could be subjected to racism at any point or any time, whatever you're doing, wherever you're at. So don't let this gelatinous gargantuan giant mislead you with that. But don't worry, as soon as you say something out of whack, I'm going to come up the rear on this YouTube channel and play whack-a-mole. As soon as you say something out of whack, I'm going to come with a mallet and I'm going to play whack-a-mole. Now, you guys let me know what y'all think. And while this guy dreaming about what the next meal going to be later on tonight, head coach Deion Sanders going to take his Colorado Buffaloes to victory. He going to go 3-0. What you going to say then? Huh? What you going to say then? You going to stand on that square? Well, if they ultimately succeed, you got to give me credit, bitch. I'm not giving you credit for shit. Now, if you take your ass to Planet Fitness without breaking out in hives and you got on the treadmill for an hour, I'll give you credit for that. Till then, shut your bitch ass up. You know how to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Oink, oink. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Huh?